Hey everybody, this is Michael from Replica Airguns with part 2 or part B of the Glock Shootout. This is for the CO2 BB pistols in the Umarex lineup of Glock pistols. And if you haven't watched part A, I focus on velocity. You know, I talk about what I expect from each gun. I was a little bit surprised with the results, so you want to watch that if you're interested in the results of the FPS for each of these guns. I've also got a dedicated tabletop video where I go over the differences in them, so I'm not going to focus on that right now. Just understand they're all CO2, they're all steel BB. We have non-blowback here at the 19. We have partial blowback with the 19X and 17 Glock or Gen 3. And then we have full blowback with the Gen 4 Glock 17. So expect slightly different results from each of them. And that's what we're here to find out is how accurate are they? So that's really going to be the sort of telltale thing here that we're going to talk about. We're going to demonstrate is accuracy. I might give a little feedback at the end, but I'm going to get right to it because I got 4 guns and I got to do some paper changing and all that. And I don't want this video to get too long. So here we go. We're going to do this pretty quick. Okay, let's run up there. Well, not literally. Hurry on up there. Take a look. Yeah, this is about a 2-inch group, maybe just a hair over. So Glock 19, hair over a 2-inch group. What I'm going to do is just change the papers and try and keep everything kind of there because I don't want to lose. Maybe just in case I want to compare these later, I will do that. But that was about a 2-inch grouping, pretty close to the bullseye. Okay, so yeah, basically pretty close to the bullseye, just a little to the left. I find a lot of these guns shoot to the left. It's either the gun or it's me, but I find that other people find that as well. So who knows? Okay, I'm not even sure what gen this is. So I guess it would be a Gen 3 frame, a little bit shorter, with the 19X sort of shorter slide. So partial blowback. What are we going to get here? That one felt pretty good. It looks to me like they're shooting about the same, a little bit to the left again, right? Wow. Vertically up and down a lot, but horizontally within an inch. So we had a bigger grouping up and down. They like to be a little bit to the left. They're fairly well centered up and down, but they did travel up and down quite a bit, but not a bad result for sure. Okay, let's see if the Gen 3 Glock 17, which is almost identical mechanically as what we just shot there with a 19X, let's see if that's any different. Should be similar, but yeah, I'm always surprised when I do these tests, and that's why we do these tests. You can kind of have your own perceived ideas, but until you actually do them. Last shot. All right, let's take a look. How'd that one do? Again, to the left. A little bit more to the left, but not as up and down, more left and right, but more to the left. I mean, overall, these guns are shooting well centered up and down, just a little bit to the left, which is interesting. But again, about another 3-inch group. So right now the 19 is the winner here so far with about a 2-inch grouping. Okay, last one. Let's get this done. Well, the video's rolling. You never know when it's going to stop. Sometimes these cameras decide that they've had enough. Okay, all right. How will this do? Will it surprise us again? It was pretty decent with the FPS compared to the partial blowback. So let's see what we do for accuracy. Wow, that trigger's nice. Should be last shot. And it is. Okay. Well, low. So this one, way lower compared to the other guns. I believe there's an adjustable hop up for this gun, so you could maybe bring it up, although the steel BBs at a close range like this aren't going to, you know, magically rise a lot because of the backspin. It might help them a little bit further downrange. So you're gonna have to aim a little higher with this gun if you wanna bring up the, basically the aim point and where you're targeting it. So just keep that in mind. Again, close to a 2-inch group. If we dropped these two BBs, it would have been like a 1.5-inch group. So I'm gonna give it like a 2.5-inch grouping, but this was right in the middle between the 19 and the Gen 317 and the 19X. So again, pretty surprising, but it did shoot lower. It shot better left to right though, as you can see, not so much pulling to the left. So maybe it's not just me, maybe it's the guns, right? Who knows? Like, again, I said that because a lot of people say that they shoot to the left. Often with these guns. Could be just the way they're pulling the trigger too. Maybe it's inherent to everybody. The trigger on the 17 Gen 4 is definitely the best trigger. It's more of a single action for sure. Really has a nice feel. The other guns don't feel bad. Even the 19 with a true double action trigger, it has a pretty decent trigger pull. It's a little longer and everything. The 19X and the Gen 317, they have the same trigger pull. It's not as heavy as you would expect, being that you're moving that little slide guy that pushing a BB in between shots. It's actually pretty fluid, a little bit longer again, but not too bad. So again, all these guns are available in our Canada and US Replica Airgun store over at replicaAirguns.ca for Canada, replicaAirguns.us for US. So if you want to buy from either of those countries, buy in those stores. We don't ship to other countries. Nowhere else in Canada, just to Canada, and the US, just to the US. So keep that in mind. We have all kinds of other products there, air guns, BB guns, airsoft guns, pellet guns, blank guns, and other accessories too if you're interested in anything like that. We also have replicaAirguns.com where I post my articles with additional information and photos of these products. So check that out. I'll put links in the description for all of these types of things for you guys. All right, thanks for watching. Don't forget to subscribe. Check us out on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. Until next time, take care.